Hi everybody, on this video we'll be discussing a simple but important conceptual topic, that is a structure of cell membrane. Let's go to the topic details. Welcome to Dr. Ashish Conceptuals. The structure of cell membrane was always a fascinating topic for the scientists, and they were initiating their studies even a lot before the discovery of that electron microscopy in the 1815 itself. But that actual details of that cell membrane revealed only after the discovery of electron microscope, and by the work of these two scientists here. They are known as Singer and Nicholson. You will be heard about them. They are known as Singer and Nicholson, and they provided the actual data about the cell membrane. And the model put forward by the Singer and Nicholson, that is known as fluid mosaic model. And let's see what are the details in the fluid mosaic model and how that will be applied on the other topics or other areas of the biology also here in this discussion. In the fluid mosaic model, Singer and Nicholson stated that the cell membrane is made up of lipid, and there will be two layers of lipids are there, so that the cell membrane structure, they otherwise called as lipid bilayer structure. Lipid bilayer, you know the word mean bi means two, you know, two layers of lipids are there. The first point I want to tell you is that even though the name of the structure is lipid bilayer structure, the major component of the cell membrane is not lipid, it is proteins. Actually, 55% of the total molecules are proteins in that cell membrane, and only 40% will be the lipids there, and there will be a rest 5% will be there, that is carbohydrates. So we'll see that functioning of the proteins and carbohydrates later, but I'm going to talk about lipids now. So what is a lipid basically? Basically, lipid is fat molecules. They are fat molecules, and the lipid molecule will be having two parts usually. You can see this figure here. So I am isolating one lipid molecule here, and you can see that will be having a head portion, rounded head, and it will be having a tail portion which will be going inside like that. So I told you there are two layers of lipids are there, and these two layers, the fat will be arranged in the opposite way like that, like it will be arranged like that. So this is one lipid molecule, this is a second lipid molecule here, and it will be having a head portion, rounded head, and it will be having a tail portion will be here. And how will you remember this thing? I will be giving you a tip for that thing. You can see that head, it will be looking the letter O, it is looking like the letter O, and tail will be looking like I. The O, it indicates the outside, and the I will indicate the inside. So inside means you have to understand it will be inside the cell membrane. Suppose if I am marking on this big figure here, so this area will be the inside of the cell membrane. This is the inside of the cell membrane, and this area will be outside of the cell membrane, and that the below area, this area is also outside. You have to understand this thing. This is very, very critical to understand this idea here. It will be situated outside, tail is situated inside. So why that head is situated outside? Why it is happening? My question is why, and why this is situated inside here? What is the reason here? For that thing, I'll be telling a simple example. Like suppose you are a small child, okay, our small children in the home, we are there inside the home there. Suppose at that time there is one new person is coming to our home, and everybody like that person very much. So what the child will do, child will run outside to see that person. Why? Because the child will love that person, child is loving that person, so it will run outside and the child will meet that person here. Okay, you are, you understand that thing. Suppose a new person coming to the home, it is a it's a person, like the child is afraid of that person. So what the child will be doing, child will be running inside the home, not going outside. Same thing it is happening in case of this lipid molecule. One person is in love with water. I told you there will be outside, there will be water will be there in the intracellular fluid, and the extracellular fluid there will be lot of water will be there. So if the water will be coming, someone is going outside to meet the water. So why? Because that person is in love with water, that person is in love with water. So who is in love with water? The head is in love with water. So we will call the head as hydrophilic. We'll call the head as what? Hydrophilic. What is the word meaning of philic? Philic means loving. So the head is hydrophilic. So the tail is moving inside. Why? You have to understand the tail is in fear of water. We will call the tail as what? Hydrophobic. That is known as what? Hydrophobic. So who is hydrophobic? Tail is hydrophobic and head is hydrophilic. To remember that thing also, I'll be using another mnemonic, another trick here. So you have to remember that a lipid molecule like a heart-shaped balloon. So the balloon part, it will be representing the head, and it will be looking that heart shape, so that it will be loving. Who? What loving? Water loving. So we'll call it as hydrophilic. It is known as hydrophilic. And the tail area will be having the opposite behavior. So that is hydrophobic, in the fear of water. So they are known as hydrophobic. So this hydrophilic and hydrophobic nature of that head and tail of the lipid molecule is applied in the activity or the normal functioning of the cell membrane. Let's see how this will be altering that functioning of the cell membrane here. Before I'm going to that detail, let's see a more realistic figure of a cell membrane. You can see this is a cell membrane here, and you can see that the two layers are there. It is separated. This is a one layer of lipid, this is a second layer of lipid, and you can see so many proteins are arranged here. Can you see what I am marking here? These all are proteins. These all are proteins here. I told you there will be a lot of proteins will be there, and proteins are the major part of the cell membrane. I already told you. And these are the two layers. This is the first layer and second layer of the cell membrane, and they are made of lipid. You can see the head and tail. The inner portion is packed with the tail, and just now we learned that tail is hydrophobic and the head is hydrophilic. So let's see the functioning of the cell membrane now. So I'm showing you one cell membrane here. The same cell membrane we have discussed some other different kind of figure only, and I'm showing some water molecule here. Just see, this is a water molecule. Just imagine if the water molecule want to come here, and the water molecule to cross the cell membrane like that. Across the cell membrane, water molecule how to move. So do you think that the cell membrane can allow the water molecule to pass through that thing there? Actually, no, water molecule cannot pass through here. Why it cannot pass through here? Because you can see this is the inner portion here. What the inner portion of the cell membrane is made up of? The inner portion of the cell membrane is made up of tail of that lipid molecule. And what is the speciality of the tail of the lipid molecule? The lipid molecule's tail is hydrophobic. It will repel the water. It will repel the water. So the water molecule cannot pass through. Same as the way all the water soluble substances, all the water soluble molecules also cannot pass through that cell membrane. Why? Because whenever a water soluble molecule is coming, there will be a water molecule along with that thing. So they will be having an association with water. So it cannot pass the cell membrane here. Very, very important area. So that we will call the water and water soluble molecules. The cell membrane is impermeable. Cell membrane is what? Impermeable. What is the word meaning of impermeable? It will not allow passing through. Okay. So I hope you are understanding this much. Suppose if the coming molecule is not water, it is a different molecule, like it is an oil molecule. What is the specialty of the oil? Oil is also a fat. If an oil droplet or oil molecule is coming, it is trying to cross the cell membrane like that. Can it go through? Yes, exactly. It can go through that cell membrane. Why? Because this is fat, the oil is fat. Also, the cell membrane is also made up of fat. So both are the same kind of molecule. So it can easily pass through. And suppose if some other materials like oil soluble or fat soluble, I'll be writing fat soluble. So suppose a fat soluble molecule is coming, like water soluble, some other molecule will be soluble in fat. The fat soluble molecule is coming, what will happen? Can it pass through? Yes, it can also pass through. So we will call the cell membrane will be permeable. Cell membrane will be permeable for fat or fat soluble substances here. So you can see that a huge difference between the fat soluble substances and the water soluble substances. Suppose it is a water soluble substance, what will happen? It will be impermeable. It will be impermeable for the water soluble substances, and for the fat soluble substances it will be permeable. So this kind of special permeability, some molecules will be allowed through, some molecules will not be allowed through. So this kind of special permeability, we will call that property of the cell membrane as a semi-permeability of the cell membrane. And this semi-permeability of the cell membrane is having a great role in biology. In so many places it will be applied in biology. So let's see how the semi-permeability of that membrane is applied in biology in general. The first area where I am going to discuss about the application of the semi-permeability of the cell membrane, it will be coming from the digestion. So in the digestion, you will be learning a special topic, that is your fat absorption. What is so special about fat absorption, of why you are studying it differently? Why? Because you know fat is fat, it is oil, it is like oil, and the blood, it will be like water. There will be a lot of water there in the blood. So can this fat can be absorbed into the blood here, which will be containing a lot of water? You have to understand, no, it cannot. Why? Because it will not be mixed together. So the fat cannot be absorbed into the blood here, or fat cannot be going into that blood to be getting visible here, so that the fat will be absorbed into some other fluid, that is your lymph. You will be studying in your digestion and absorption. So the fat is not going into the blood, it will be going into the blood here. So this is the first instance where this property is used here. Which is the second area where this property of the semi-permeability of the cell membrane is used? Actually, that is in your nerves. In nerves, you will be studying about the nerve impulse generation or conduction of the nerve impulse. And in that thing, you will be learning about different ions like sodium ion and potassium ion and different properties of that thing. So you know that sodium ion is impermeable for the cell membrane and potassium ions are permeable for the cell membrane. Why the sodium ion is permeable and why the potassium ion is impermeable? You have to understand that the sodium ion is more water soluble than the potassium, and the potassium ion is more lipid soluble than the sodium. So what will happen if the sodium ion is trying to cross the cell membrane? It is a water soluble product, it will not be allowed. So the sodium will be remaining impermeable for the cell membrane. So the sodium cannot get into the cell, inside of the cell sodium cannot get. So why? Because it is water soluble. Suppose if the potassium is coming and crossing the cell membrane, can it go? Yes, it can pass through. Why? Because it is a lipid soluble atom or lipid soluble ion, so it can pass through it easily. So that is an application of the semi permeability of the cell membrane. The third area where this property of that cell membrane is used is your hormones. You have studied that chapter of the endocrine system. So in that thing, you have studied about the mechanism of hormone action. Ready? You will be studying about mechanism of hormone action. What is so special about the mechanism of hormone action? You know that some of the hormones will be acting by binding on that receptors which is present on that cell membrane, and some other hormones will be going into the cell and will bind on that receptors which is present inside the cell, that is the intracellular receptors. So why there is a difference between the hormones like that? Why? Because you have to understand, some hormones are water soluble. They will be soluble in what? Water. And suppose if a water soluble hormone will be coming into that cell and it is trying to go inside the cell, can it go inside the cell? Actually, it cannot go inside the cell. Why? Because their chemical structure is like they are water soluble. So they cannot go into the cell. So where they will be binding? They will be binding on the receptors which is present on the cell membrane. So I was talking about some proteins in the cell membrane. So you can see that there are some proteins which is protruding out of the cell membrane like that. Can you see? That will be protruding out of the cell membrane. You can see this green protein. This is a protein. This is another protein. So this will be protruding out of the cell membrane. So these proteins will be calling, since it is seen on the periphery, we will be calling it as a peripheral protein. We'll call it as a peripheral protein. So what these peripheral proteins in the cell membrane will be doing? These protein will be acting as the receptors. They will be acting as the receptor for such water soluble hormones there. I hope you are getting that thing. And on the other hand, some other hormones will be acting like a lipid soluble hormone or fat soluble hormone. Suppose if this hormone want to come and it want to go inside the cell like that, can it go? Yes, it can go. Why? Because they are lipid soluble, it will be allowed through. So they will be going and they will be binding on the receptor which is present inside the cell. So they are known as the intracellular receptor having hormones. Okay, so this is that application of the semi-permeability of that cell membrane in mechanism of hormone action. And let's discuss the last and final application here, that is coming in the transport mechanism. So you have studied about a lot of transport mechanism, and there are two transport mechanism that is depends upon the concentration, that is from higher concentration to lower concentration. Which are the two transport mechanism? One is known as a diffusion, you know, and the other one, it is known as a facilitated transport. It is known as what? Facilitated transport. So two mechanisms are there. One is known as a diffusion and the other one is known as facilitated transport here. So what is a diffusion here? Actually, one molecule will be simply passing through the cell membrane from higher concentration to lower concentration. So which will be the type of molecule? It will be water soluble or lipid soluble? Of course, it will be lipid soluble. So it can directly pass through that cell membrane. So the lipid soluble molecule can undergo diffusion by it can directly pass through. Suppose the molecule which want to transport across the cell membrane, it is a water soluble molecule. So Can it go directly through the cell membrane? No, it cannot go directly through the cell membrane. So how they will be transported? They requires special proteins. They need special proteins. So where is the special protein are situated? Let's see that thing here. So I have told you the cell membrane will be having some other protein. You can see one protein I am marking here. Can you see this protein? Same way this protein also the same way it will be acting. So these two protein you can see that will be extending from one surface of the cell membrane to the other surface of the cell membrane. From this outer surface to the inner surface it will be going. So since it is spanning the cell membrane, we will call this protein as a transmembrane protein. Transmembrane protein, or it is known as integral protein. Why it is known as integral? Because it is integrated with the cell membrane here. So what is that functioning of that thing? You can see that this integral protein, it will be having a hole in the center. Can you see this hole in the center? Why this hole is used for? These holes will be acting as a channels for water soluble substances, and this substance will enter through the hole to get inside the cell. So what will you call such a transport where it is using a special carrier protein? That is known as facilitated transport. So which kind of molecules will be undergoing the facilitated transport? The water soluble molecules. And which kind of molecules will be undergoing the diffusion? They will be the lipid soluble molecules here. So these are all the basic application of the semi-permeability of the cell membrane, and you will study this thing in detail on appropriate chapters. I hope you are understanding this concept of cell membrane very well and applications also. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Also, if you are having any doubts, any queries related to biology, please feel free to comment below on the comment box. Thank you for watching.